Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Flat Tire Dan. Good to see everyone. I know it's been a minute, and I apologize for that. I'll explain why here. But it's been exactly 2 weeks. Today is Saturday, and it was 2 weeks ago today, our last day of vacation up at Seneca Lake in Watkins Glen, New York, when the incident happened. And I'll talk about that a little bit, and you saw some pictures of that. But we also did get a portion of the day in on the kayaks, and you saw that as well. I had mentioned when I posted the pictures of what happened, and I'll explain exactly how all that came about, that I was going to get back to you with some details. And I was kind of holding out because I was hoping to get some sort of final estimate on the cost of the damages to the dually, which I put here in the background. But I still don't have that. And I figure it's been long enough. I've had a few people ask me, hey, you said you were going to give us details what happened. So here we are today. Again, no one got hurt. And that's the most important thing. And I think if there's a lesson to be learned here is that some of what we do, even though it looks fun and is fun, has some inherent dangers that proper planning, education, and just general caution can help avoid. And that didn't happen here. And so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So let's get right into it. That last Saturday at Seneca Lake, Flat Tire daughter and I took our kayaks out of the boat launch area at our campground for a little paddle upstream away from the lake. And it was pretty. It was hot. It was pretty. You saw some stuff from that. We came back to the same boat launch, which was connected to our campground. We went and had some lunch. We hooked up the Sea-Doo, which is out for repair. It didn't get damaged in that. It's just having the stereo fixed. And we put back in the water for a day on the lake. The last day on our lake, a Saturday on Seneca Lake, which is, from what we could gather, a pretty good time. The pictures kind of show it. We were backed in. I was unloading, moving the Sea-Doo to the far side of the dock to tie it off so I could pull my truck up out of the way and park it in the parking lot. And a beginner, first time out with a rather large sailboat that turns out was not allowed to be launching from that location because of a number of reasons. Backed in next to me, as opposed to waiting for me to get out of the way, which is, if you have the opportunity, the smartest way to do it. With their mast up, their 30-foot sailboat mast in the upright position, which, as I'm learning more and more about it, is no number one in the sailing world. And it's an older launch, and there were overhead power lines. Now, they were 20-some feet in the air, like well taller than any normal boat would put in there. But sailboat with mast up caught these power lines, and the power lines are reinforced with cable to keep them from like blowing down in the wind. And that cable was strong enough to pull down that power pole. It's a telephone pole, but it wasn't telephone lines, it was electric, on top of my truck. Now, I was in the water. Some of the pictures, if you look close, and you can go back and look, with the pole down on my truck, the lights were still on, which means that even though the pole had collapsed, it was still energized. And I was in the water on my Sea-Doo. Now, fortunately, and I don't know if there was actual electricity in the water, but fortunately I had fiberglass Sea-Doo between me and the inlet. Flat Tire daughter sometimes sits in the truck until we are ready to go, sometimes gets out and stands on the dock. In this instance, she had gotten out, fortunately, because although there wasn't a tremendous amount of damage to my truck, the windshield basically exploded all over the inside of the truck, which certainly would have exploded all over her. and could have been really bad. But again, I was okay, she was okay, and then the couple who had backed the sailboat in, they were okay. So no one got hurt, but hopefully I explained it in such a way without going on and on how much someone could have gotten injured here. I guess there's learning to do in the sailboat world. I don't know a lot about it, but there are certainly do's and don'ts. It doesn't seem like this couple had taken the time to do that. And so all I can say is if you're going to get into anything like this, boating or off-roading or a lot of the stuff we do on the channel, and those of you who know me know I'm like a super geek when it comes into planning and learning, just for desire to learn, but as a result, safety comes along with it. I think this is just an illustration of how proper preparing can help always, including the safety end of this type of stuff. As far as the dually is concerned, mostly the windshield was the problem in the end. Police, fire, electric company all came out, and they were great. They made sure everybody was okay. They got the pole off my truck, got my truck out of the water. Unfortunately, I was close enough to my camper where I could just limp the truck back to my campsite. And once I had a chance to clean everything up, primarily the damage was the windshield, which fortunately we stayed one extra day. We were supposed to leave Sunday, we left Monday, and I was able to get a new windshield so that I could get the truck and all of our stuff home, as opposed to leaving it all in New York to get it fixed. There is some body damage on the A-pillar, which is the connecting from hood to roof. Nothing serious. The dashboard is kind of wiped out. I mean, it works, but it's all scratched up and there's still a bunch of glass and everything in there. Antenna, like windshield wiper thing. A lot less damage than the pictures would lend. So I feel fortunate for that because, as you know, we love this truck. Scheduled to be repaired in a few weeks here after we get back from a North Carolina trip that I'm certainly going to bring you along with. But in the end, everybody was okay. Truck's not in too bad a shape. And some lessons learned. So again, really grateful for all of you who reached out to ask how we were, make sure that we were doing okay, and then bugging me to give you this little verbal description of the episode, or the episodes of that day. Got some stuff coming up, just some simple hiking, things like that, maybe another kayak trip. Then we're heading to the Carolinas for a week-long vacation, taking the ski, taking the kayaks. It should be a lot of fun. Flat_tire_Dan on Instagram, Flat Tire Dan on Facebook. Again, thanks everyone for checking in, and we'll see you soon.